So here we are at chapter 3, the fall of man. So let's just jump into the chapter right away. Now the serpent was more crafty than any of the wild animals the Lord God had made. He said to the woman, "Did God really say you must not eat from any tree in the garden?" The woman said to the serpent, "We may eat fruit from the trees in the garden, but God did say, 'You must not eat from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it, or you will die.'" "You will not surely die," the serpent said to the woman, "for God knows that when you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like God, knowing good and evil." When the woman saw that the fruit of the tree was good for food and pleasing to the eye, and also desirable for gaining wisdom, she took some and ate it. She also gave some to her husband, who was with her, and he ate it. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made coverings for themselves. Then the man and his wife heard the sound of the Lord God as he was walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and they hid among the Lord and they hid from the Lord God among the trees of the garden. But the Lord God called to the man, "Where are you?" He answered, "I heard you in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid." And he said, "Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree that I have commanded you not to eat from?" The man said, "The woman you put here with me, she gave me some fruit from the tree, and I ate it." Then the Lord God said to the woman, "What is this you have done?" The woman said, "The serpent deceived me, and I ate." So the Lord God said to the serpent, "Because you have done this, cursed are you above all the livestock and all the wild animals. You will crawl on your belly, and you will eat dust all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel." To the woman he said, "I will greatly increase your pain in childbearing. With pain you will give birth to children. Your desire will be for your husband, and he will rule over you." To Adam he said, "Because you listened to your wife and ate from the tree about which I commanded you, you must not eat of it. Cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil you will eat of it all the days of your life. It will produce thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. For the dust you are, and to dust you will return." Adam named his wife Eve because she would become the mother of all the living. The Lord God made garments of skin for Adam and his wife and clothed them. And the Lord God said, "The man has now become like one of us, knowing good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach out his hand and take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever." So the Lord God banished him from the Garden of Eden to work the ground from which he had been taken. After he drove the man out, he placed on the east side of the Garden of Eden cherubim and a flaming sword flashing back and forth to guard the way of the tree of life. So, okay. So once again, we'll stop here with this chapter 3. It's quite a heavy chapter where we see what happened and what was the reason the world is the way it is today. So I think I can relate this to our current lives, wherein certain things which are forbidden really look very attractive in the beginning to us, and however, once we embrace those habits or embrace those very attractive or fancy things, it turns out to be something not as we thought it to be. It's in fact something which is not something desirable or healthy for our lifestyle and for our soul and for our peace of mind. It isn't good uh, overall for our lives. And we can name several habits like that, from the very use of your mobile phone. There is again a proverb which says that too much of anything is not good. But here, certain things by themselves are not really good. Not just too much, but they themselves are not good. And initially, while it might look attractive, it is really not advisable to indulge in those habits or fancy things which the world presents to us. So that's one learning which we can get from this chapter, especially from Adam and Eve's behavior. And we can also infer why the world is the way it is today with women. If you notice, although you will have pain during childbirth, you will still desire for your husband, and the man has to toil all his life despite difficulty, despite challenges keep coming. Have you noticed? Not just for men today, but it is for the entire humanity. No matter how much we strive for a peaceful life, we want to settle down, but still, as we move forward, challenges are presented in different ways at different stages of our life. So I believe it stems from the beginning, where God has indeed placed a curse on humankind because of the original sins we committed, our ancestors committed. That's very much relatable, but overall, the core thing is this: certain things which are really not acceptable by God. I think I'm repeating this almost more than 3 times. I don't mind that. Certain things which are not really good for our life, they might present themselves to be really attractive. For example, with some influences, some friendships, some habits which are really not good for us. On the surface, those habits or those indulgences might look extremely attractive to us that we can't resist ourselves, but the moment we indulge into it, it isn't really something what we thought it to be. It ends up making us feel really sick within and without. It reflects, because what happens within comes without. It represents through our health, through the mindset, through the way we treat people once we get into those indulgences which are not really good. And when God stops you from doing something which is not so good, it's better to obey Him, because uh, when you have the abundance of life, having an innocent mind helps you stay uncorrupted by those things in life. Remember, I said too much of anything isn't good. At the same time, when there is too much around you, having that innocent mind, as Adam and Eve, how they were when they were created, that innocence helps you in a way to not be affected by the fancies of the world, the delicacies of the world, the attractions in life. But once your eyes are open to those things which are not so good, you tend to use it for not the right reasons. You might end up misusing. Today, that is what is happening in the world, where while certain things are created with, discovered or innovated, several innovations are there. They are created with good intentions, but man, through his thought process, always ends up misusing them in the end. For example, the atomic bomb was created for mine workers and people who are working through or trying to break mountains for construction purposes, or basically for industrial purposes. But today, if you notice, atomic bombs and uh, um, explosives are used for something otherwise, for the destruction of mankind itself. So that is one one huge example for what we are doing with what is presented to us. Had we had that innocence where we don't realize the bad, but rather we just remained with this, with the innocence and the good ignorance which God created in us, I don't think we would look at the dark side of things. So I believe that is one of the reasons why God did not want us to know everything. In life, people try to, get into learning everything. We want to know everything. We want to have control over everything. But then it is always good to let go of your control over certain things in life. Let it to, over into the hands of God, and surrender your life and move forth, even if you do not have the knowledge of what's going to happen in the future or the next day. But today we want to plan our days ahead, which is good. Planning is good. But we want to have so much control over our lives that we tend to not place our trust in God. We rather place our trust in ourselves rather than on God. But then when you innocently place your trust into God's hand, that acts as such strong faith, such a good example of a faithful life to God, that you don't have to really have control or worry about what happens in life or the next moment or the future or the next day. While you do plan your days, while you do things which are necessary, but you always give it to God rather than trying to know everything by yourself, rather than trying to have control over everything else around you. So I think I'll leave you with that um, as food for thought. And when you get to read this chapter by yourself, or when you get to ever bump upon this video, just think about it and let me know your thoughts on this chapter. So I leave you with that, and you have a good day. Stay blessed.